Okay, let's just cut to the chase. If you clicked on this video, you're here for two reasons. One, you're here to validate your fave rapper and see if I place them as high as you think they deserve to be. Or two, you genuinely want to learn about who the best rappers are in K-pop, whether you're new or you've been in K-pop a while and just want to learn more about the rap side of K-pop. And if you're here for the second reason, welcome, welcome. I hope you enjoy this long video. There's not going to be any editing or anything. It's all going to be me live, so please bear with me. I'm going to have a little bit of a cough and everything, and I'm still getting over a little sickness, but I'll get more on that in a second. Let me address the first people who are going to want to skip to their fave. I have timestamps to your fave down in the bar down here, so you can just skip to your fave and listen to my reasoning. However, I do ask if you are going to confront me and, comment about why you think your favorite should be higher, please, one, listen to my entire reasoning of it. I know all of these rappers very well. I promise you, whoever you are here to watch, I have listened to all of their best raps. So I do have my reasonings to all this, and I've tried to be as unbiased as possible, and I've had over 40 different people also help me make this and try to keep me as unbiased as possible, so I'm not just putting my favorite, Changbin, at number one, because obviously he shouldn't be number one right now. And yeah, so please bear with me. Go check out your favorite. If you don't want to hear the actual reasons for which tier means what and everything, which I'm going to start explaining right now. So everyone else, welcome, welcome, welcome. Guys, as always, this is a lot of work to listen to all of these rappers on the boy group side of the list, and I am also making the girl group version, so if you are interested in the girl group version, that will be on my channel right after this. If you're watching this right when it comes up, it'll be like tomorrow, but if you're watching this sometime in the future, later in 2023, it's already on my channel. You can go find it, maybe I've pinned it in the comment, I'm not sure. But yeah, to make all this possible are my amazing Patreons. Thank you all so much for making this possible. I literally don't get paid anything for this YouTube channel and all the work that goes into this, or at least I don't get paid from advertisers in YouTube that much. So all the work that goes into this is just like my hobby, and I could not be doing this as often as I do if it wasn't for all these lovely people. So shout out to them. And if you want to be part of reactions and stuff, because I upload my reactions to new songs and everything and album reviews and all of that there, go check this out. The Patreon link is in the description as well. Or come join us on Discord. That is completely free, and I'd love to be part of our community. But yeah, let's dive into this. So here is the tier list. Yeah, I already have it set up, guys. We're doing this a little bit differently this year. You guys can look at it right now. I told you I have a slight cough. I am so sorry. But I'm going to get into this. We're going to start from the top and just work our way down. And let me explain how these tiers are ordered. We're going to start, we have down here, we're actually going to, when I do this, we're going to start tier 1 down to tier 6. But to describe them, we have tier 6 down here. These are vocalists. They should not be on this list, but they're here. So, because they have a rap role. So, vocalists. Tier 5, these are the, if they had a choice, they would probably sing. But they have done a good amount of rapping, or at least some rapping, to be considered rappers. So, that's tier 5. Tier 4 is essentially like the idol rapper tier almost. They're decent rappers at the end of the day, but like they're not going. They either haven't proved themselves to the point where they can just go in, or they excuse me, or they're not writing their own music and they're just rapping because they're told to, etc., etc., etc. Tier 4, that kind of idea. Tier 3.5 is they would be higher if they wrote their own verses. Which this is a lot more prevalent on the girls group side of things, but we thought this was necessary because we didn't want to put people who didn't write their own verses any higher than this. Tier number 3 is the they're relevant tier. They're either on the come up, you're going to be seeing more of them in the future, or they're like veterans who are like, this is like the highest peak that they got, and like, they're solid rappers overall. They're not going to blow your mind with their verses, but they're definitely not weak. Then we have tier 2, and this tier is either, they're on the come up to pushing into the top tier 1 of rappers, or they're like extremely good veterans. They never made it to that top tier. They never got that best rapper in K-pop title, but they're extremely reliable and extremely well-versed in rap. And then tier 1, these are the top tier of rappers. This is the, if someone says the best rappers of K-pop, one of these names should pop in your head. They play around with flow schemes. They play around with rhyme schemes. They do all these amazing lyrical things. And then we have the daddy tier, which we thought when we were making this was very necessary for a few of these rappers, which is completely a joke, obviously. I'm just going to put everyone back down where they belong. But the daddy tier is very much needed. And I forgot to put this in presentation mode. My bad. That's better. And I'm just going to restructure this the way it's supposed to be. Hold on. And then we have the Bangchan goes down to here. And then we had S-Coops, who is down here, if I remember correctly. Now I'm regretting making the daddy tier. I don't remember where we put everyone. I think S-Coops is somewhere in the... We'll talk about him. I might end up moving him. Yeah, he's above Hyunjin, so I think he could be there. Okay. Now JINJIN gets to stay in daddy tier, which we'll go into in a minute. So now that I have explained the tiers, again, the girl group version is on my page, or it will be if you're watching this right away. And yeah, if you have any disagreements, please let me know down in the comments below. I'm going to give you examples while we go through these. This is going to be a very long video. I hope that you sit here and watch it through if you want to learn some good rapping and hear some good raps and everything. But I'm going to give some examples, tell you guys why, and this list is all based objectively as possible. It is based on flow screams, the ability to rap more complex flows than other rappers, the ability to create more complex rhyme schemes than other rappers, the ability to articulate complex rhyme schemes, because that could be very difficult, the ability to write meaningful complex lyrics, emotional lyrics, the ability to have variety in your delivery, have a unique delivery that stands out. All of this stuff goes into rapping, and breath control while you're performing live, stuff like that, right? All of this was considered, and I had many people on my stream helping me actually objectively look at this, so I'm not just going, haha, I love Changbin, he's #1. Like, obviously he's not. So let's dive into this. And we're going to start at the top. We're going to work our way down because I feel like doing that this year. Last year we did alphabetically, I think. This year we're just starting top, working our way down. And we're going to start off with JINJIN and Daddy tier. This is obviously a meme tier because in 2021, King's Choice fan voted JINJIN as the best rapper in K-pop, and that is a meme in our community. So we felt it is only deserving for JINJIN to be placed above everyone else in the Daddy tier. Even after I move everyone else out of the Daddy tier, JINJIN gets to stay in there. But yeah, I mean, JINJIN overall is a very solid rapper. I don't think he's better than Rocky. I think Rocky definitely has many more, not only complex verses and the ability to rap a more complex scheme, but Rocky's also just had way more consistent rapping over the years to me than JINJIN has. And so if I did place JINJIN, he would be mid tier 3, probably near around HUYoung of SF9 or Vernon of 17. But we're keeping him Daddy tier. Obviously, JINJIN goes in Daddy tier, so I think that no one can argue that, okay? That is the one I can't be argued with. But let's move into the actual rankings. So we're going to start off with the best rapper in K-pop, which is ZICO. Now, if you disagree with me on this, I hope it's for his actual rapping, and I want to hear a reason why. I know there's a few people who don't like his personality, think he's a very bad human, and everything, and I'm not taking that into account. That has nothing to do with the rapping, and that is not what we're talking about here. I'm strictly talking about him as a rapper. He is the best rapper to ever grace the idol scene. 100%. And let me show you why. ZICO creates some of the most complex flow schemes and articulates them with ease. It's crazy. And he's been doing this. You can look back at the old Show Me the Money stuff like Okie Dokie. You can look back at some old solos like Boys and Girls. He had some nice raps in there. You could look at like Eureka and old solos like that, old BlockB verses even. Like, there's so many solid ZICO stuff, but especially you hear him improve, and that is so important to me when you're evaluating rappers. You don't want their best stuff to be 6 or 7 years ago and see them just like decreasing like this, because when we're doing this list, I do take into account legacy and also recency bias. I want to hear them keeping improving, because if your best stuff is a 2015 and you haven't done anything since, I'm going to think you're a bit of a weaker rapper now than in 2015, if that makes sense. But ZICO, that is not the case. We could look just 2 years ago. No, you can't. Listen to this rap. So, This rap right here, right? One second. Yeah, okay. I just had to double check that my mic was working. I just had like, you know, that very that, you know, oh my god, I forgot something. I had to just check my mic. But these flow schemes and Know You Can from ZICO are crazy. Plus they're combined with these very difficult rhyme schemes. So all of this combined just makes ZICO this powerhouse of a rapper. And you even know this too from the K-hip-hop community that's accepted him as an official, you know, real rapper, if you want to call it that. Like he collabs with some of the best in K-hip-hop. He's worked on some of the shows in K-hip-hop like Show Me the Money. He's a leader in the industry and an absolutely mind-blowing rapper. And even with his releases from this year, OMZ Freestyle, Freak, Trash Talk with Changmo, there's so many solid verses he's done that just are K-hip-hop level rapping, and he continues to push this every single year, and it gets him in first place, in the top spot of tier 1. He is tier 1 top spot, the best rapper in K-pop. And everyone, these places are ordered, by the way. You can move them around. I'm not gonna be that upset if you're like, oh, I think BX should be over Castle J, but we'll get to that point. So let's move into our second rapper. And now we got Bobby of IKON. Jesus Christ, what can't Bobby do? Obviously, he won Show Me the Money 3, but if someone asks why is Bobby the second best rapper in K-pop, if anyone ever says because he won Show Me the Money 3, it's completely almost irrelevant at this point. Yeah, it's a great accolade that he has, but that was almost 9 years ago at this point. He's done so much since. 2020, he released arguably the best K-pop rap-focused album. Like obviously, like, you know, not overall Korean rap, but, you know, a K-pop album that focuses in rap. Lucky Man from 2020, or was it 2021? I think it was early 2021. Easily the best, 2 years ago now. Listen to this verse in this rhyme scheme with this flow. And watch how he develops the flow. Like, so he keeps going too, but this rhyme scheme in here is insane. It is one of the best rhyme schemes ever done in K-pop. On top of that, slowly developing a flow that starts off with this like what's it called? Not swing, shuffle flow. A shuffle flow, and it slowly develops into this like sextuplet. It's crazy how he's developing this flow while on top having these insane rhymes. Listen to these rhymes. Even if you don't know Korean, you can hear the rhyming. Like, bro. It's crazy. Bobby, this isn't the only one for Bobby either. And on top of this, Bobby has one of the most identifiable deliveries in K-pop too. Just extremely powerful and extremely consistent delivery. Bobby, number 2. That's why he's behind ZICO. Let's move on to MINO, though, who also releases some amazing songwriting albums. And MINO loves to play with rhyme schemes. Not just like, you know, the ending the words on 4. And I like allow a lot of people like listen to rap and expect the rhyme to be on 4. I love MINO because he doesn't always do that. And we can look back to 2020 on MINO's album Take, with the song that he did with DPR Live, who is also a K-pop idol. Did I just say K-pop idol? I'm sorry. DPR Live, who is a K-hip-hop rapper. He is not a K-pop idol. Please do not take that out of context. But check out this rhyme scheme. And look at what he does here.
Paradises, paracosm, no paradox, just paranoid, paracetamol, spirit just paracosm, paramount, new paradigm, we spat it out. Young 몰라도 you read this now.
He's rhyming alliteration. And it's not the first time anyone's done that, but it's not a common thing in K-pop rapping. It is not common. More normally in K-pop rapping, it's on the 4s or on the ands of 4 or on the 3, and then you stop. Like, you know, that's the stereotypical idol rap. And it's like a very, you know, baseline type of rapping. But MINO takes it a step farther. He's rhyming the beginning of each word with the alliteration. And what's amazing is this is in English, so you could follow along even if you don't know Korean. Paradise is paracosm, no paradox, just paranoid. Like, bro, that rhyme. Bro! So MINO has some amazing writing skills. And on top of that, his delivery is no joke as well. You listen to like Machine Gun and compare that to what you just heard from Hop In. Machine Gun. And listen to how this delivery compares. This is from 6 years ago on Show Me the Money, but still. Almost completely different. Paradise is a paracosm. Like, again, not the speed. I don't want that to be what's shown here. But, like, the actual delivery, his tone in his voice is completely different here. And he is such a good rapper at controlling that. So that's why he's number 3 here. Then we can move on to the StrayKids boys. These two after this year are pretty much interchangeable. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Han had a better 2022 than Changbin. Even though Changbin's 2022 was amazing, Han had a better one. And if Han has a better 2023 than Changbin, next year, you're going to be seeing Jisung in this 4th spot. I promise. But we'll see what happens this year, because StrayKids is releasing an album. Hopefully, it's going to be a 3-Raj album. So we'll see, but holy shit. Let's talk about Changbin first and then Jisung, because they are interchangeable. If you like Jisung more, I'm completely fine if you wanted to do it like this. But Changbin, why is he in 4? I mean, he was in 4 last year, but why is he still in 4? It's because he took his weakness and improved it. Delivery, you might say. Changbin stands might be yelling at me right now and going, but Matt, he has one of the most powerful, hard-hitting deliveries. Like, he gets you just up and driving. Yes, that is true, but there's more to delivery than just having that unique sound. What did I just show with MINO? 2 completely different sounds from Machine Gun to Hop In. But what Changbin's been doing this year is perfecting his ability to have variety in his delivery in the middle of a verse. Take what he did in Mirror Mirror and then listen to all of his raps from this year and have a focus in Mirror Mirror. Mirror Mirror, you know how it constantly ends like this? Like, let's listen to this real quick. Obviously, this came out in 2021, but here, listen to what he does here. Do you hear those like high pitch? Those are changing his delivery in there because he's like starting off with this like very low tonal, hard hitting, very F-Hero-esque rap, and then he's like spicing in these almost lay one type raps, and you can hear that really in a lot of what he did in StrayKids this year. You look at Heyday, right? And you could hear these tonal inflections just shine in his verse here. It's almost like lay one, especially with the spacious flow too. And then this. That's what he improved on the most this year. And that is why I'm comfortable keeping him at number 4, which we had him in last year. He's did so much this year to bring up the weakest side of his rapping, which I thought was his ability to change his delivery mid-rap. And he did that so much this year. And I love that from Changbin. Excuse me 1 second. However, let's talk about Jisung. Let's talk about Han. What did Han do this year? He did everything this year. This boy went off. He had some of his best rapping this year. You can look at even so, like, maybe it's just because everything he did well from years past that wasn't officially released, they officially released it this year. I Got It, probably Han's best rap, officially released this year, even though he did that a few years ago. But still, like, I Got It is such a strong rap, rhyme scheme and flow-wise. You can think of what Bobby did, or, you know, I think ZICO's No You Can't is a better comparison, but you haven't heard this, like, It's a crazy skilled rap, and it was just officially released right a month ago, but this verse is just crazy skillful. Very ZICO No You Can-esque. Complex flows over top of a fast thing. And obviously faster doesn't mean better, but when you're able to do complex flows over top of a fast speed, that's what's impressive. When you're just doing 16s, when you're just doing that, it's like, sure, it's just, you know, normal. But when you're throwing in triplets into 16ths, into a few 30-seconds, into a few HUTAs, into a few eighth notes, stopping on like a quarter, and then doing a dotted eighth note to finish it off into a bunch of sextuplets, like that is what's impressive about speed. When you can do this extreme complex flows in a fast pace, and Jisung can articulate it with the best of them, and he is so good at that. Changbin is too, but Changbin didn't focus on that this year. Jisung did, and it's so good. You can also look at Zone, which came out this year, which has the same thing. You can look at Muddy Water, this verse in Muddy Water that came out in 2022. Jisung did the same thing, and that's what he worked on. And let's do the live version just for the kicks of it, so we can watch him do it live. Ready? This articulation. And it's not just a straight 16th note run either. He's putting in pauses. I'm not even doing it right, but he's putting in pauses too. That's what's impressive. He did the same thing on 3 Raja. He just did this so much, and it was so impressive this year. His articulation, and then rhyme scheme wise, like you could look at Time Out from StrayKids. Jisung did so much this year, and again, if he has as good of a year in 2023 as he does in 2022, even me as a Changbin stan is going to be doing this. So we'll see, but StrayKids, like if you hate StrayKids because you love BTS, or you hate StrayKids' rap line because of something, like, you're just kidding yourself at this point. Like, there's no reason to think that these two are bad rappers unless you don't know what rapping is, and at that point, it's just embarrassing for you to be talking about. But let's move on to BTS, by the way, who we have Suga or August D. And the only reason August D is here and not here is literally lack of raps. He has had 2 raps in the past year, and then maybe like 4 or 5 raps in the past 2 years. And then that would also be including Butter, which will bring him down even more. And like he's just had a load of weak raps. And then you look at like Run BTS, which is a very solid, a very good rap. But it's nothing like August D. It's nothing like Day Treat Ta. It's nothing like The Last. It's nothing like a lot of the other raps he's done. Cypher 4. There's so many in there that, you know, Suga just goes off on. But the past 2 years have not been to that level of those. And that's why StrayKids have, I put StrayKids boys over top of Suga. I really need D3. I need D3 to come and just punch me and be like, yo, Matt, Suga's up here or up here. Like, you know, I just need that. But Suga's got that potential. He just needs a new release because that and Run BTS, it's just not going to do it compared to what Han and Changbin have been doing this year. And this is a lot more recency because honestly, if you took everything Suga's done and compared it to everything StrayKids have done, they're all very similar. Like if you can literally do this, right? I just have StrayKids over top of them because recency is a bit more important to me when I'm making this. Because like sure, Suga's always going to have that 2016 mixtape, that 2020 Day to a Time mixtape, but he's not doing much right now, and StrayKids are blowing it out of the water. And the only thing I could say Suga has over StrayKids rappers like Changbin and Han right now are the solos. But yeah, one more solo is just like bloop bloop bloop, and I have no problem. But yo, if you think Suga's better than Changbin and Han, that's completely fair. You could also do this, honestly. It just depends how you're looking at it. But I talking with other people who are also trying to be unbiased, I think Suga's right here. Then we have Hanse of Victon. Hanse of Victon is a very interesting character because he is not recognized widely by the K-pop community for some dumbass reason. I don't know why, but Hanse of Victon is insane. Oh my God, he's insane. And the only reason why, to me, he's not even above StrayKids, because he could be very well be. But the only reason I don't have him right here, like he could be, his solo from 2021 was not that impressive rap-wise. It was fun to listen to, but there was no mind-blowing raps on there. But then you look at what he did in Victon this year. Chronograph, Stupid O'Clock, Virus. Holy shit. Just in case you're watching this and you're just chilling listening to me talk about K-pop rappers, let me just play this for you. This rap is unarguably the best rap of last year. He is doing a diddle quintuplet, for the record. If you don't know what that means, just know that you've probably never heard a rapper do this before. A nice build-up right here.
Okay, put it in the coder. Now we gonna hop on the record rate and find a sky so get go with the flow.
Foreshadowing. Quintuplet diddles. Delivery change. And then go back to the original delivery with a more quintuplet diddles to finish it off with a climax. That is the best. Like, that is only 8 bars if you include the opening part right here. Or is it 12 bars? This is 12 bars if you include this opening part. If not, it's 8 bars. It's a normal length K-pop rap. Do you know how much he was able to do in that? It's crazy. It is insane. And I could even pull this. Actually, no, I can't. But I have many videos. I have a video going over this rap. It is crazy. And this isn't even the only rap that he did something like this on this year. You could look at Chronograph, which has this amazing flow scheme on it too. He just writes these mind-blowing flow schemes. Now, whether or not you like his delivery is up to personal opinion. It is a very polarizing delivery, the very nasally tone, very much Soyeon-esque, but the boy group version. However, it's just like this flow scheme. Just pinpoint rhythmic accuracy. And then falls into the beat. And climaxes it with a fun rhyme scheme. He's just on this other level, and I really wish I could put him up here next year. He has a solo coming, and I hope he just goes the fuck off with this solo, man. He is deserving of being recognized as a top rapper in K-pop, and I hope that title comes to him this year because, bro, if you don't know who he is, you're missing out. You genuinely are. He had some insane raps last year. Insanely difficult raps, and he executes them amazingly. Anyways, I'm sorry, I just hit the mic. Anyways, let's move on to Jooheon and Monsta X, who just released a new album with Monsta X. And he had a bunch of really good verses because Monsta X is only down to 5 members at this point because Shondu's in the military and Wano's going on his own right now. So they have 2 rappers and 3 vocalists, and they are giving the rappers time to shine. And I love it when you listen to it. Him and IM get so many verses. We'll talk about IM soon, but Jooheon just has this amazing delivery. It's extremely powerful, extremely unique, and this dude can just make extremely smooth sounding raps. And we can listen to his most recent, which is Beautiful Liar. Now, while I do think IM's part is more of a shine here, and I think this new album really encapsulates Monsta X as a rap line rather than individual rappers, it still shows his... He builds off of what IM did so well, but we're not going to listen to IM's part. Here's Jooheon's part. Delivery, he is one of the best deliveries of K-pop, up there with Bobby. Like, bro is just so clean of a rapper. And then you look at his solos, and he does not hold back either, right? You can look at Intro Ambition, which is a great rapping display from him. You think, if you're a StrayKids fan, you think of Changbin's Cypher. It is very similar to the layout here. It's 3 different segments pushed together, right? Extremely smooth flow, which is because of the rhyme scheme. but it's not predictable at all. It's extremely smooth thanks to that rhyme scheme. It is not predictable, and that is just the highlight of amazing rapping, and that's Jooheon and Monsta X for you. I want another solo from Jooheon. I always want solos from all these guys that are all so freaking good, but I need another Jooheon solo as well. It's been a while. It's been 2 years now, and I'm ready for a new Jooheon solo, man. Ooh, I'm excited. But let's get into some more IKON. Here's the second rapper formerly of IKON, I should say, and this is B.I. Now, B.I. has been on a solo journey, and he's had a few weaker solo songs, but he's also had some of his strongest rapping he's ever done. And you look at some of his stuff in IKON back in the day, right? And this is like a solo he had on an IKON album, which is extremely well done. Extremely consistent rapper. And even when you're looking at the stuff from this year, right? You look at some of the stuff from this year. We look at his Killing verse. There's so many solid stuff in here. We look at like his rap in BTBT. Just kidding. He never rap at BTBT. Wait. This is what I mean, though. When he raps, he's extremely consistent, but he's very much falling out of rapping, at least to me. And he has a lot of these vocal parts. But he's coming extremely close to being like, you know, B.I. his own brand, if you will, as a rapper. I love seeing that. But yeah, the other reason he's not higher for those B.I. fans is like, you know, the second half of this vocals. But I mean, like, there's so many great raps in here that he's done. And you can really hear some of the similarities with Bobby too, which I love hearing from when they, like, you know, brought up in YG together and in IKON together. You really hear how they work together, which you don't often hear rappers in the same group do. There's only a few groups that you do hear that with, and we'll get to the other one in a minute. But IKON definitely did that. You hear that similarity with Bobby and B.I.'s delivery at times. They're right there. It's very similar, like Bobby and the recent Show Me the Money song he did with a feature on it from Very similar deliveries. But let's move on to RM now, because after tier 1, I'm going to have to speed this up because I'm talking way too much. But RM is next up on this tier list, and RM had this amazing album called Indigo, and I'm sure we all know that. And basically what Indigo showed me with this, RM is still RM. And that's what I was mainly looking for in this. I wanted to hear him rap in here. And this is what I wanted to hear. And RM showed up on quite a few songs for me on this, and I'm very happy about that, because if he didn't, I would have dropped him way, way down. But he showed everyone, he showed the world that whether he wanted to or not, he still got it. He still got that 2015 style about him. And even if he doesn't want to pursue that sound anymore, he's still able to if he wanted. And I'm very happy Indigo showed us this, because he definitely wants to focus on other areas, but he gave us just enough for me to comfortably go, okay, he hasn't lost it. He still has it. He just chooses not to do it most of the time. But there's been a lot from RM in recent years that has been very questionable. You can look at the song I pointed out earlier for Yoongi, right? You look at Run BTS, and you listen to the lyrics in here and the delivery of it. Although a lot of BTS fans love the contrast between RM's part here and Yoongi's part here, I just think it's atrocious. This is like the low point for RM, and this is why I can't put him at number 1 after the last few years, especially. 2015, yes, definitely. Number 1 rapper in K-pop, number 1 K-pop idol rapper, 100%. But nowadays, I just can't because of some of the verses like this. And they just hold me back from keeping him any higher than Jooheon, B.I., Hanse. I can definitely see this, but I think RM's low sides have been a lot lower than BI's low sides, so I have RM just below BI. But yes, RM does have the old style, just to point it out. He does still have this, and he showed us in Indigo he can still do this. But this is the RM I really miss. You got Joke, you got Do You, right? You have all these really older you just don't hear this from RM anymore. And like, you know, he had some amazing raps in Indigo, which is why he's still in tier 1 for me. But I can't put him any higher because of this, but I also can't put him any lower because of his legacy side of him, and like, you know, the possibility of him rapping this like bomb ass rap this year. Like, imagine a Yoongi song featuring RM where he does a joke-esque rap. Oh, anyways, let's move on to WooJinYoung of D1s. Unfortunately, D1s have just disbanded a few weeks ago, and I'm extremely sad. But luckily, most of WooJinYoung is solo. And bro, if you have not heard this rapper before, let me blow your mind. There's a reason why he's in tier 1, and you may never have heard of him, but he deserves to be here. So he has a bunch of solos because D1s was on a hiatus as they were putting some of their members through the military, and unfortunately they disbanded. But bro, this is one of the best verses this year. He has some of the best pacing in a K-pop, in a rap. I don't know why I said K-pop. In a rap, he has some of the best pacing. He has some of the best delivery up there with Jooheon and Bobby and MINO and Changbin even. And Jisung even. Yeah, so like, that's why he's up here. He belonged with these guys because his delivery is this good. He has some amazing flows. He has some extremely impressive rhyme schemes. If you go back and listen, let me show you his pacing. Watch how this rap paces from slow, it gets intense, it slows down, and then climaxes. It's all one verse too. It's crazy. Delivery? And then he uses his breath as... Listen to his breath. Climax. He uses that as part of the flow. Really cool rhyme scheme. And then he finishes it off with, he's using this, the laugh, he's making it into the flow too. It is so creative. He is such a creative rapper. And you can even look at the first album he released. Stuff like Room, right? Unfortunately, you know, he's not that big, so he doesn't have English lyrics for you guys to look at. But you can look at the verses like this, right? This rhyme scheme. Amazing rhyme scheme artist too. He is such a great, well-rounded, high-tier rapper, and it's just a shame he doesn't get the recognition he deserves. But he does what you hear Hanse doing, Suga doing. The rapper of Hongjoong, very much Yoongi-esque in terms of Yoongi solos. I hear so much August D in that, so much emotion in his voice. He has such a great delivery, and he's almost to me a mix of Suga and you mix him with Sugar. I said Sugar. Oh my god, Suga and maybe Wonhyuk of BTOB would be a good mix. If you mix those two together, you get WooJinYoung. Such a good rapper, man. Or maybe Yoongi and Han would be a better mix. I'm not sure, but yeah. Let's move on to our last 5 of tier 1. Ravi of VIXX. Ravi is a very solid rapper. He has a very different style than what we've been listening to. Everyone before this has had very extremely well-constructed flow schemes, rhyme schemes, and everything. Ravi is different. Why? Because he focuses on sing rapping and uses a lot of effects and auto-tune, which isn't inherently a bad thing. And I feel like a lot of people just, like, you know, hear that because and think, wow, they're a weaker rapper, but it's not true. There is plenty of rappers in K-hip-hop even that use this autotune effectively, and Ravi is one of them that's able to do it. And you look at stuff like this new verse from 3 months ago that Ravi did, right? He has a very consistent tone, which makes it really nice to listen to. And you can look at some of the older stuff, Bomb from 6 years ago, right? Okay, not the hook. He is so good at combining a vocal tone, like for vocals and singing, with his rapping. It's like fast-paced melodic rapping. And he has such good pacing. He's a he's probably one of the best consistent in being consistent, like BI. What I put it about BI. He's probably up there in the top 3 or 4 of consistency among rappers. Like always just delivering extremely good verses. Like if you like Ravi's tone, there's not gonna be a single rap you don't like from him because they're all extremely well done. He's just extremely consistent, and that gets him into tier 1 for me. And the ability to melodically create those raps and everything, as I just talked about. But let's talk about P1 Harmony. Here's someone else that a lot of people might be like, wait, why are they in tier 1? Who are these people? I've never even heard of this group. Okay, they're kind of popping on TikTok, but they're extremely strong rappers. Let me show you why. Let's talk about Jongseob first. Jongseob has an extremely great delivery in terms of flow. If we look at this rap called Down Bad that P1 Harmony did a few years ago. Now, this was factored in last year as well, which he got into tier 1 for last year. But Jongseob is so strong at creating and using space whilst hitting the rhythms perfectly. He is so strong at this. He's not rushing. He's not dragging. It's just pinpoint perfect with space. Adding in that extra space when he needs and executing it perfectly. And then he can also hit that fast part when he needs to. Like, god damn. But then you look at what they've recently done. And this literally came out 2 weeks ago. Right? This dropped 2 weeks ago. And it's just impossible not to recognize how good this is. Intak is in here too, but we'll get to Intak in a second. He is so consistent. He has really come into his own, and he's made that delivery his, and he has such a unique delivery too. This kid is so young too. I think he's just 18 right now. Whoa. Like, he has such a high ceiling, and I can't wait to see where he goes. I say this every year, but every year I just get more and more hyped for this rap line because 2022 is Intak's year. And Intak is the other member in P1 Harmony right here. Intak? Oh, man, he has learned from Jongseob. And then when I mentioned IKON as a rap line that worked together to come up, Intak and Jongseob, you can hear them work together. It is crazy. We can look at a song like Mirror Mirror that came out this year and listen to Intak's flow on this. It is extremely something that Jongseob would do. And that is why I love this, because it is like, while you could love Jongseob, Intak and him are working together. And that is what makes a great rap line. But we're not talking about rap lines, we're talking about individual rappers. And listen to this flow. This flow I made a whole video on. He literally is only rapping on the offbeats. Every time I count, he's not rapping. Watch. I was clicking the downbeat. You know, the 1, 2, 3 of the song, right? Which you'd normally be listening to, like the 4, 1, 2, 3. He's skipping over those parts, and that isn't the only thing impressive he did this year. He had so many impressive raps, and there's like stuff that you would like think that Jongseob would be doing, but Intak is writing and doing on his own, and they're working together on it, and it is so amazing to hear them come up together like this. It's mind-blowing to me, and like before I had Intak as a tier below Jongseob, but no, he's come up and he's caught up to Jongseob. They've worked together, and they are a 1-2 punch. Like what the fuck? Like Changbin and Jisung. Like Bobby and BI used to be when before everything happened. I used to have them very close together on a tier list. But yeah, it's P1 Harmony's turn for that, and it's so nice to hear. But let's keep on moving. I gotta speed this up because we're already 45 minutes in. I'm not even past tier 1. So let's talk about Wonhyuk of BTOB. He also goes by HUTA, and he released a solo in 2022 as well. And while it wasn't the most impressive thing in the world, which is why he hasn't really gone up at all in tier 1, it is very much a tier 2-esque rapping to me. But I didn't dock him down to tier 2 because he still had very impressive stuff the previous year on BTOB, especially towards the end of 2021. And if he has another slow year this year, I could see me pushing him down to tier 2. But you could look at his stuff from Kingdom. You can look at his stuff from B2B's releases, like one of I'll Be Your Man, and you can look at features he's done on like Cube's rap line group, right? The Cube rap line Mermaid. He has a really nice verse on here too, right? There's so many quality verses that HUTA's done. Oh, he's after Yan. Very nice rhyme scheme. So he has verses like that where he's just going the fuck off that I just can't dock him down to tier 2 yet. Yeah, while his solo this year, it wasn't the most impressive. He had cool verses like Real Game, had a nice verse in there, and his solo had a few bars that were like really fun to listen to. But overall, he's a really solid tier 1 rapper. He's pushing that tier 2 limit. We'll see what happens this year. He might be docked down to tier 2 next year, but right now I still have him tier 1. I think he is a top tier rapper and very extremely underrated for someone as well known as he is. I'm surprised people don't talk about him as much as they do. Next up, though, we have someone even more famous, which is my boy G-Dragon of Big Bang. Now, he is tier 1. All because of his legacy. That is it. He has released 2 raps in the past 8 years. Is it 8? 9 years. 7 years. What the fuck? I'm going the wrong way. He's released 2 raps, which is Middle Fingers Up and Bullshit. Those 2 songs have raps. Everything else from his solo album in 2017 didn't. And before that, the last rap we had was Fuck It, if you want to count that. And then before that was the Made album. He hasn't released much. So this entire year, I'm going to be hoping we can get a G-Dragon album. And the only reason he's still in tier 1 is because of his legacy. He has done so many amazing things in 2012 with so many cool raps. 2009. You can look at some of these really old raps like G-Dragon or... hell, just look at old Big Bang songs. Look at his old solos. And while he does sing a lot, there's so much there of high quality, pioneering rap in K-pop. He is one of the pioneers for K-pop rap. Hold on one second. Okay. So, yeah, G-Dragon, he's kind of grandfathered in here, but he's at the bottom of tier 1 because I need him to release a solo. Or it's going to be really hard to keep him up here. And he has that legacy behind him. He pioneered rap, made rap in K-pop what it is to get to today. But if you took his raps from 2009, 2010, 2011, 2012, etc., and compared them to what people like Bobby, MINO, Changbin, ZICO, Hanse are releasing this year, it's not on the same level. But G-Dragon gets that extra respect, and he gets that tier 1 because of that. So, G-Dragon, please do a new album. And we're going to move into tier 2 now, and I'm going to speed this up now. I wanted to do in-depth stuff for tier 1 and give them all the time they deserve because they are all top-tier rappers. But as we move farther down this list, I'm going to spend less and less time on each one because I don't want this to be a 5-hour video. But, a few hours is okay. So, Let's move into tier 2. And the top of tier 2 is J-Hope and BTS. If you think J-Hope is too high, you did not listen to his album this year. He took this album, and this is his best rapping. I mean, Tier had a good rap, above average for him. Outro Her had a good rap. But overall, J-Hope has not rapped this well since 2014. The delivery is on point. Extremely creative delivery in combination with the flow. Very like what Jooheon would do, right? It really reminded me of Jooheon. But probably with even more flavor than Jooheon would do, honestly. Now, I don't think he is on tier 1. I know there's going to be a lot of ARMY in here that think that all the BTS rappers should be in tier 1. I don't think that's the case for J-Hope. I still have him just one tier down. He's at the top of tier 2. I can't push him over this little hump right here to put him in this top tier just yet. Even with this album over the summer. But this album over the summer pushed him up so much because he had not been doing much of BTS. Outside of a verse every once in a while, that'd be, oh, okay, J-Hope, I see you. But outside of that, he's had a lot of weak verses recently. And this album over the summer was just mind-blowingly good. Because it's not just arson. There's stuff like Safety Box, right? Or why did I say Safety Box? Safety Zone. Extremely well done verse here, too. Lyrically extremely emotional. Powerful. And haven't talked about lyrics too much. But J-Hope did such a wonder with the lyrics too. And that's one reason why Suga's so high. He's such a way with words. And a lot of them in tier 1 do. And J-Hope, I can totally see him pushing up here next year. I don't know if he's going to make any new raps next year, but I mean, like if he releases some features on some stuff and we get to see him feature on some stuff, I can totally see him, pushing up to here even. Here. We'll just have to see what he does next year. But next up, we have Sunwoo of the Boyz. Now, Sunwoo is a sleeper hit of 4th-gen rappers. When you hear people talk about 4th-gen rappers, you hear Soyeon, Changbin, Jisung, the Ateez boys, a whole bunch of, sometimes the P1 Harmony boys, if you're hearing it from me. But Sunwoo is extremely disrespected as a rapper. He is a top tier 2 rapper, possibly tier 3. Excuse me. It's just extremely impressive. I'm trying to find, I forgot what the song was called. It was a recent song by the Boyz. It was a dark, it's gonna kill me if I can't find it to play it for you guys. It's not their newest song because it's not all about you. It's all about you. Last Man Standing. Thank you. Yes, it's the combination with Raiden. Look at this verse from Sunwoo. Oh my god. Oh my god. And it's like, if you just took the first 2 or 3 bars, it'd be like, okay, that's a basic K-pop rap. But when the reason he's tier 2, he has become such a good rapper at being able to develop his verses in such a clear, concise, and good way. He's able to develop how it sounds. It starts off with like a very kind of pretty tame. This is pretty tame. And then he just like, what? And then it just peaks. Climax. With that rhyme scheme. It's so much fun. He's definitely working on his rhyme scheme too, because you look at All About You and it's exactly the same thing. Okay, not the exact same thing, but another really cool rhyme scheme on it. Okay, now even if you don't understand Korean or can't pick it up, just listen to the rhyming. Listen to the syllables that sound the same. And he's not like, it's not the exact same bar. It's not like he's going, all about you, all about you, all about you, all about you. He's like changing the verse, like the bar each time. It's not the exact same bar each time, and he's managing to keep these like the rhyme scheme. It's exactly rhyming. Oh my god, it's like every other word is rhyming with each other. And I know it's extremely similar, which is why it could sound like that, but still, he is taking these rhyme schemes and running with them. And I love to see this improvement from him. And it's like ever since like, you know, a little bit before Kingdom, he's really started to come into his own, and like, he deserves that respect of, you know, coming up onto that tier 1 area, that top of tier 2, because he definitely is one of the leaders of rapping in Gen 4 Boyz. He 100% is. And with that, let's move into Gen 3 Boyz, which is Mark of NCT. Now, Mark, me and the people helping me with this list fought quite a bit on this. I really thought Mark deserved to be up here in tier 1, and I was convinced to push him down. When you look into his raps, there's none that are really on par with some up here. He has some extremely powerful lyrics, especially from last year. You look at a rap like Child, right? Extremely powerful lyrics. And some very iconic pop raps. But he doesn't have anything complex like Hanse. He doesn't have anything emotional to the point of that Yoongi has. He doesn't have anything extremely diverse like Changbin has. He doesn't have anything with like the ZICO type rapping. And as much as I wanted to put him in tier 1, I was talked down like, yeah, he's a tier 2 rapper. He doesn't have that. And it's like, you look at his best raps, right? And like I mentioned, like the rap in Child, right, is extremely well done. Extremely powerful lyrics. I think some of the best lyrics from last year. And he has a very well constructed pacing. It's extremely well paced, right? And while it's really solid, and like you look at his verse in Lit, like I feel like he was outshined by Taeyong in that. He's just missing a few things for me to put him in tier 1. I feel like he needs a stronger delivery. He needs some stronger flow schemes. He's great at rhyme schemes. He's great at lyrics. But he's just missing those flow schemes, and he's missing the lyrics to push him up to the top. But still, an extremely solid rapper, extremely well versed rapper, which is why he's in tier 2. But let's move on to Wonhyuk of E-Last. This man's insane. You can look at some of the flow schemes. Come join our Discord. We have a member of our Discord, I Don't Give an Ugg, who huge Wonhyuk simp. He's transcribing the flow schemes that Wonhyuk does all the time, right? And I think it's best demonstrated with his self-written, unreleased raps. Let's do Wonhyuk. Crap, I don't remember what it's called. Hold on. Oh, the rap medley. Here we go. Listen to these. Give it a minute. Oh. Extremely slept on rapper. He's the main vocal of this group, by the way. But he is an extremely slept on rapper. He is the best rapper in this group, and extremely underrated. He has some amazingly well done raps. Next up, we have Hongjoong of Ateez, and the one thing I will point out from his stuff is Halazia. Man, this rap in Halazia was something else. He went the fuck off. I would love to see a solo from Hongjoong and what he would do as a rapper. Almost like what Intak was doing earlier. extremely well done verse. That was a very cool flow, a very complex flow scheme, and like Hongjoong has been able to demonstrate he has a very good delivery control. He has very good breath control while he's rapping live as well, and he's an extremely well versed artist overall, which gets him into tier 2. I really think that Hongjoong is such a good rapper, and I'd love to see a solo from him, just like I'd love to see Changbin and Jisung and a Sunwoo solo, you know, overall. And Sunwoo has a lot of SoundCloud stuff. Changbin and Han have 3 Racha stuff. Hongjoong doesn't have anything like that to my knowledge. And I'd love to see some stuff like that from him. But I know he concentrates when he writes music for Ateez as a whole. And I got to respect that. But, man, I'd love to see some solos from him. But moving on, we have the second half of Monsta X, which is IM. And IM, I think, had a better new album than Jooheon did. I think IM's verses overall on this new album, especially in like Beautiful Liar, were better than Jooheon's, which is pretty rare. But the reason I can't put IM in tier 1 is his solos. But let me show you how amazing this verse is first. Hold on. He's going from a shuffle to a swing. It is so interesting. It's so funny. It's some amazing verses on Monsta X stuff. You can look at the really old stuff too, which is how he got his name out there. The old albums and like Calm Down, which Jooheon had an amazing verse in there as well. You look at Tropical Night. He has so many like quality verses in old Monsta X songs too. Monsta X has such a good rap line. And him and Crescendo, B-side off of this new album for Monsta X, they've really shined as well. The only reason that he isn't in tier 1 with Jooheon or solos, I think IM has really weak raps in his solos. I know he's going for a different vibe. He's going for that I don't want to call it sad boy, but like that lazy boy vibe. Let me see if I could show you. So we look at a song called like Goddamn, right? And this is his solo from last year or 2 years ago at this point. Very sing rappy, but very simple. And if you compare it to what Jooheon does solo-wise, it's just like I can't bump him up that much higher. But, man, IM's got amazing raps on Monsta X's discography, and dude's insane. Let's move on to Taeyong of NCT, who I think a lot of people really underrate overall. I think a lot of people put him down in tier 3 when he's actually extremely solid rapper. You look at verses like that he did this year, like Lit, right? So we look at like a verse in Lit where I think he out-raps Mark in this. Very strong delivery. He's messed a lot with his rhyme scheme in recent years. We could look at his collab with TVXQ's yes, you know, took me a minute to remember, but look at this collab. Look at this writing. Look at this writing. You ready? The lyrics. Oh! The wordplay, even the Taeyong's got some clean raps, and I feel like a lot of people overlook these, and they just look at like, you know, his like stereotypical, oh my god, he just has a deep voice, but he's a lot more than that. He's extremely solid delivery, and he has come into his own as a rapper, and he's definitely in the tier 2 for me. Let's move on to Zelo of BAP. The only reason he's this high up is because he has had a resurgence this year. Bro. Just listen to this. This is some of the best rapping I've heard from Zelo since early BAP days, and I always felt like Zelo was overrated just because he has that one super fast rap, or the two super fast raps in BAP, but man, last year's, what was it, Deadline? I forgot what the song was called. Yeah, Deadline. This last year, given those K-hip-hop vibes, which I loved hearing, and then the Poser from this year. This is one of his strongest solo songs, in my opinion. And then Poser this year had extremely well-versed rap, as you just heard. Zelo just made a resurgence for me. He's mid to top tier, too. And I'd love to see him keep releasing new stuff like that and keep progressing his career as a soloist because he's insane. But let's move on to Wonhyuk of Super Junior. I don't know how much to say, man. He's an extremely consistent rapper that's often overlooked because he's in Super Junior, which isn't a rap-heavy group, and you could just look at stuff like Wonhyuk Tier 2. And he didn't do much, which is why he isn't like moving up any farther on the list. I think he's probably roughly at the same spot he was at last year. He hasn't done anything to move himself down. He hasn't done anything to move himself up. But if you need any reason for him as Super Junior member being this high, just listen to this song. This is a solo song from him a few years back. A very good dynamic control, extremely good delivery, amazing pacing. Not the most complex rhyme or flow schemes, but his pacing is insane. Triplets. 16ths. To show the, like... And then he matches it with the piano to get that emotion in there, too. It's really nice to hear. It is an extremely strong rap. And he has many like that in Super Junior, too. Like, maybe not to that degree, but he's an extremely consistently strong rapper. I don't know what you can say to say that he deserves to be farther down. I think he's very underrated. But let's move on to Suga of SF9. Literally just released this. I literally just made a video on this, but this is kind of a crazy verse. The spacing, man. Like, okay, let me pull this up for you, actually. I have this transcribed. I made a video on this the other day, but Zuho's actually kind of cracked. Look at the spacing. It's very, very strong for me. The mix of dotted eighth notes to eighth notes. Bro, it's, you know, tier 1 level rapping. And it's just like, you know, the consistency's not always there. I don't always hear this from Zuho. I know he did do this on an older SF9 song too that a lot of people overlooked and said, like, it sounds kind of weird. I don't like it. Was it Teardrop? It might have been Teardrop. I think it was Teardrop. No, it was not Teardrop. It was a recent SF9 song. I wish I remembered which one it was to show you guys. He did something else similar in another song. Trauma. It was Trauma. I'm sorry. I found it. That dotted eighth, that trauma, that he holds it back an extra thing. He is so good at doing that too. I just wish he did that more consistently, but it's so fun to hear him do that and just hit those slower rhythms. Now we're about halfway through the tier 2 point. We got WooJin of AB6. I don't have too much to say. He is an extremely consistent, solid rapper, which gets him here. Like, he does not really have any bad verses, and you can even look at like stuff that makes him shine, like Sugarcoat. He has a very decent verse in here. Solid delivery, very consistent in everything he does. I can't even think of a bad rap from him. And you can look at some older AB6 stuff too. Savior from last year was also a very solid thing that gets him up there. So many raps that he just kind of went off on in the song.
supernova explosion burning up for you 너 나의 태양 다가가면 뜨거워져 soon roller coaster ride 넌 날 뒤바꿔놔 take it to the next universe like a fire.
Keeps going too, by the way. But such a consistent rapper, and you know, consistency says a lot for me. If you don't have many bad verses, I think that says a lot about who you are as a rapper. Even if you don't have a lot of exceptional verses like WooJin, I think the fact that he has the amount of solid verses he does is just extremely telling of him as a rapper. So he gets middle of tier 2 for me. Next up, we have Rhoda of Mont, someone that's, you know, a little bit of a personal affection for me because I wish the Mont boys so much success, but he has become really come into his own. You look at stuff like his solos like Anxious, right? Extremely well delivered. You look at his feature in Bomhan's Ashes, which is extremely powerful. And he has a lot of potential. I wish we got more from him because I know Mont's putting all of their idols through the military before they get serious. But man, I really want more from Rhoda, and I think that'll bump him up a lot. But he didn't really do much this year. He had the one feature on. Did he have a feature? Did he do anything this year? I actually don't remember. I don't think he has. I think his last thing he did was Anxious, which was last like 2 springs ago, and like 2021 was Anxious, and then the end of 2021 was Ashes. So yeah, I don't think he did anything this year, which is why he's kind of, you know, moved down a little bit. But man, I want some new stuff from Rhoda. Now we have Mingi of Ateez. I used to think Mingi was a stronger rapper than Hongjoong, but I've kind of come back on that a little bit. He has some very solid verses. He has some what verses, and then he has some verses that maybe go what. Oh, that's what you did there, and then I see it. Like we look at his verse in Halazia compared to Hongjoong's, right? Hongjoong is just crazy with the flow scheme he chooses to do. Mingi makes me question a lot more until the very end. It makes it make sense. I'm just me, myself, and I. Who are you? So, like, when you're first hearing that, it's like, who are you? I'm just me, myself, and I. Who are you? Like, I'm just like, do we really need to say who are you more than once? But then he keeps going with it. Then I'm like, okay, that's the staple. That's what he's working on, like he's trying to build on. Sometimes I don't think he gets to that point all the time. But there's other times, like we look at his raps in like The One, right? Or I'm the One. Very, very good verse in here. Also, Hongjoong had a good verse in here. But Mingi's verse in here. I have to find it. Oh, here it is. Sorry. Very, very consistent for Mingi. That's why he's up in tier 2. I still think there are areas for him to work on that he could definitely improve, and that's everyone. Even in tier 1, there's like places that I think Changbin can work on, Han can work on, MINO can work on, etc. But so just remember to think about that for everyone on here. But yeah, Mingi, very solid rapper overall, middle tier 2. Chanyeol, very extremely underrated. I think a lot of people just see Chanyeol. Oh, EXO? Ew, he's just an idol rapper. What the fuck? Why is he so high? Bro, sit down and listen to some of EXO's shit, and you'll know why he's this high. Anyone who questions why Chanyeol is this high doesn't listen to EXO. And it's as simple as that. Chanyeol has so many well-constructed, well-paced, You could be my only. Yeah, nice girl. 나를 믿어 only now. Picture go, she the baddest wanna pound. Put it work, 너 메탈처럼 빛이 나. I think this is more about X's rap line as a whole, though. I think Sehun and Chino play off each other really well. Listen, he's going to go over the bar. This is the best part. He's going to go over the bar and keep the tempo. The beat it really reminds me of what JID does in Imagine Dragons, right? It really reminds me of this song. I know everyone's heard Enemy. What JID does in Enemy is kind of what Chino, but Chino did it first. Obviously, this rap is better, but it's the same thing that JID does here. They cut the beat, like that part, the same thing, right? But you know, Chino did that in an EXO song, and everyone loves that JID did it here. Obviously, JID is a better rapper. I'm never going to say that Chino is a better rapper than JID because he's definitely not. But the fact that he's doing the same things as someone as amazing of a rapper as JID is crazy, and Chino was extremely underrated for it. And he's middle to low tier 2 because of it. I don't think I could put him any higher. I think he's easily the best, like what I would call idol rapper, someone who doesn't like have a passion for rapping. He's just doing it because he's told to. But yeah, he's definitely well deserving of it. Next, you have Kia of Wonhyuk. Woo! I mean, he's an amazing bassist. But he has stuff like this. And I broke this down in a video a few weeks ago if you wanted to check it out. But he has some amazing raps like this one, which he has just taken such a good delivery on to make it impact. Probably the best band rapper that exists in K-pop rapper, like a rapper that's in a band. And normally I don't like rapping and rock music, but Kia often makes it work. He often has a lot of very solidly done raps with a lot of auto-tune in there, and he has a really nice delivery to fit it into this rock music, and I think that speaks a lot for him as a rapper, and that gets him towards the middle to the bottom of tier 2. I'm going to try to speed these up because we're an hour and 15 minutes in, and I'm only on tier 2 still, so we're going to speed all these explanations. And next up we have IKON. He has not done anything recently. He's slowly sliding down more and more, but we look at the stuff that he has done. It's like, you know, he has some really solid verses, obviously. He's a very consistent rapper. You can look at She's Gone, right, which was his solo from a few years back. Very solid rapper. Like, he hasn't done anything that makes me go like, ew, but like at the same time, I can't think of anything that makes me go to, oh my god, it's top tier 1 rapper. So he gets towards the bottom of tier 2 for me. I think I would love to see what he could do. Maybe a new album sometime after all this hiatus we've gone through with him. But yeah, just remind me, IKON, of what you can do. I'd love to hear it. Next up, we have Woods formerly of Unique. Is it formerly? Is he still in Unique? I'm not sure. But he's made his name for himself as a soloist, and he's a great singer, but he has some really solid rapping too, and actually to the point where, you know, I'd put him in tier 2. Because you can look back to this time as Louis Z, right? And he like made a song with Recipe with Flowsick, who's a K-hip-hop rapper, right? Amazing rap from Louis Z, or Woods in this case, right? Obviously, he concentrates a lot more in singing now under the name Woods. He has a very much of a Louis Z was his you know, rap persona, and then Woods is more of his vocal hybrid persona of rapping and singing. But even as Woods, like, he has a lot of solid rap verses that you can check out on your own if you want, because he has strong singing and he has some strong rap. I need to remember which one he rapped in. Did he rap in I Hate You? I don't remember. Okay, I don't think he did. This was not the song I was thinking of. That's him as an artist, but he has some very strong raps that make him in tier 2 for me. Yeah, this is him overall as a rapper as Woods, but I mean, like, he's had extremely strong raps. You can even go to Unique and listen to some of the raps that he had in his group of Unique, and Yeah, he's just extremely talented in both singing and rapping, and it's something pretty rare. Like he is pretty close to being an actual ace. I'm not sure how you'd call him a dance-wise, but you know, with everyone who likes to talk about aces and stuff, Woods is definitely someone to be considered there. Next up, we have Usuk of Pentagon. Great rapper. I don't have too much to say on him either. He just has a lot of really solid verses and not too many weak verses. You look at the Show Me the Money audition too, and it was really well done. He almost made it into the next round of Show Me the Money. Same season Changbin was on, and he made it slightly farther than Changbin, and that speaks a lot for him. But yeah, him as a rapper, extremely solid. I can't think of any bad verses, and that's kind of where we're getting to a tier 2, which is like there's not really many bad verses for the most part. Because we're getting to Jooheon now, who's here for the opposite reason, because he is a new kid on the block. He is in a group called Bay 173. If you have not heard of this group, you are missing out. But they are an up-and-coming group, and bro, Jooheon produces like half of their songs, and the songs he produced have just like this extremely amazing hip-hop vibe. Let me show you this one from 2 years ago and listen to this verse. It's such a solid song. And then you can look at the stuff from this year. Like he has you know, he wants to do trap, right? This was the wrong song. I did their title song, not his not his you know, let's do toes. He wanted to do trap, he's done trap. What other K-pop rapper does this? Extremely well done delivery. Like he has so much potential, and he's experimenting in so many different areas. A very 21 Savage inspired rap right here. The one weakness for Jooheon for me is the fact that he doesn't have the most meaningful lyrics, and we haven't heard him do anything like that yet, which holds him back from being like a top rapper. Hey, that's me. But it holds him back from being a top rapper. But the stuff he has written so far, it's extremely impressive sound-wise, delivery-wise, and you know, flow-wise. And I can't wait to see him do his own thing and get more personal with his lyrics, rather than just like, I'm the best. Like that's basically what all of his lyrics are about. But like this is a song he wrote for his group, right? He like literally produced the entire song. If I could find the audio for it. Oh my god. Oh, there are lyrics. Okay. And he has some solid raps on here too with Jamin. He'll be on this list later. So Jooheon, very solid rapper. I'm excited to see. He's also young like Jongseob. Him and Jongseob, they're gonna be the future. In like, you know, 7 or 8 years from now, as long as their groups are still together, like they're gonna be the top rappers in K-pop if they can make it to that point. But if they're still around 7 or 8 years, like, man, they have the most potential. Like the actual talent, rather than just being given like the spot. Like, oh, I debuted in JYP, so everyone knows that I'm a good rapper. Like, no, like actual coming up from the bottom type thing with K-pop idols. Like Jooheon and Jongseob are the two right now to look out for, at least in my opinion. And then to finish off tier 2, we have Top, who's at the bottom. Same thing with G-Dragon, as if G-Dragon is tier 1. The difference is, I'm really sorry, VIP. If Top doesn't release anything new this year, he's going to go down to tier 3. Top was before his time. And what I say by that is, if you take Top and debut him in 2023, with the exact same type of style he had in 2006, 2007, he would not stand up to the rappers of today. G-Dragon would kind of be close, but the Top is nowhere near him. Plus, he's had one solo, and it's getting really hard, like, to keep his legacy as like the reason why he's a top tier 1 or tier 2 rapper. It's really hard to keep him up here. I'm doing it for one more year. I have him at the bottom of tier 2, and I know there's gonna be a lot of VIP that are upset by this. Let's just hear me out. there aren't many verses from Top that are rhythmically complex, rhyme complex. He gets by off the fact that he's in YG and is very, good for 2008 rapping. Compared to 2008, he was top of the game. He pioneered like G-Dragon. I just don't think he did enough that G-Dragon did. G-Dragon did a lot more flow-wise and rhyme scheme-wise and delivery-wise than Top. Top's always had the same delivery. Top's always been a very standard of flow. And he just pioneered rap into K-pop, and I think that's where he gets his name from. I think that's what's made him extremely popular. And I know this is an extremely hot take, but I have Top at the bottom of tier 2, and he might be pushing it to tier 3 next year if we don't hear anything new from him. Because for Top, we haven't had a solo in 9 years. 10 years. Holy shit, it's 10 years this year since Doom Dada. It's been 10 years since a Top solo. And since then, it's just been, we had the One Night Rap in Still Life, which it was okay. And then, like, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't amazing. And then we had Fuck It. And then we had the Made album in 2015, which was 8 years ago. So, yeah, that's Top. I still giving him tier 2, but I hope he has a new album for us and he shows the fuck off. I really want him to show the fuck off. He's one of the biggest needs I have to go off to, like, stay where he is. Next up, we have tier 3. We're in the tier 3 now. Let's go. It only took me an hour and a half to get here. We're just going to lightning through the rest of these because everyone's pretty interchangeable at this point. I have them in the order that I think they are in, left to right, top to bottom. But, again, like I said before, if you told me Rocky should be over BX, I'm going to be like, okay, sure. Go for it. Top of tier 3, we have Jungkook of BAP. A bit overhyped by BAP fans because BAP was a great hip-hop themed group, but you can even hear in his solos, he's never really experimented too much with his flow schemes, never really experimented too much with his rhyme schemes, but he has an amazing delivery with that deep-ass voice that everyone is recognizes and is super iconic, and that gets him a lot of points to be up at the top of tier 3, kind of pushing into tier 2. So Jungkook, solid rapper. I think he's a bit overrated. Just a little bit from BAP fans and, just history from K-pop and, seeing BAP as a mistreated group, which they were, gets him a bit of a little more of a, he could have been so good type of thing. But look at the solos, it's just not all that. So that's what I have for Jungkook. Next up we have Sunwoo of N.FLying, also known as J.Don. This is pretty much all because of his stuff as J.Don. He gets top of tier 3. If he released some more stuff as J.Don, maybe a solo as a rapper, I would love to see what he can do. But again, rock music is not really the place for rap. So all of his raps in N.FLying's music kind of feels out of place to me. And the reason he's as high as he is because of his raps as J.Don. Go check some of those out. He has some very solid raps. He does have that solo here. but still. I'm trying to think. He did a collab with was it HUYoung of SF9? I think it was him and HUYoung that did a collab. Yeah. Him and HUYoung in here. Go check out this song. This is a great example of how good his rapping can get. So yeah. Next up we have Hyunsuk of Treasure. Now, I don't think I'm ever going to be happy with Treasure's rapping, because I feel like YG does not push them as rappers like he should. I think Treasure's music is not catered towards rapping, and when it is, they only get 4 bars, and they don't really show much. Hyunsuk showed off a lot, and I Love You. I think that's probably his best rap in a Treasure song. Volcano overall for the Treasure rap line was really good, but I need Hyunsuk to have a solo, because he showed off a bit, and he has some of the best rapping in Treasure Box. And he hasn't really since debut. And I really want to see what he can do. So that's Hyunsuk. Yeah. Top of tier 3. I think he could get up to tier 2 pretty easily if we get a solo from him, or YG actually lets him go off in a Treasure song, which I don't know if that's ever going to happen. So Hyunsuk, please have a solo. Or start a SoundCloud. I would love that. Let's move on to Castle J. I have him as the best rapper of MC&D. If you guys know me at all, you know my opinion of MC&D. I'm extremely annoyed by them because they label themselves as like a hip-hop group and give themselves 4 bars of rap each time. They never rap more than 4 bars. There's some songs they have 8 bars, but from what we can hear, I think Castle J is the strongest rapper of them right now. He has the best lyrics and the best overall writing skills, but it's really hard to be able to tell from MC&D when, you know, all of their raps are 4 bars. But overall, he is an extremely solid rapper from what we can tell, and I think he can go so much higher if he's just given the chance to have more raps. But MC&D doesn't let them do that. So yeah. Anyways, BX of CIX. He has some very solid raps too. CIX is an up-and-coming 4th-gen group, and I think BX is kind of slept on a little bit from the general K-pop fans. It's really only the CIX fans that push him, and they have a right to be pushing him. And I'd love to see CIX censor some of the raps around him a bit more too. It's kind of the same as Treasure, where it's like, you think of Treasure, you don't think of their rapping other than the fact that they're from YG. The rapping isn't like, you think of JINJIN, right? CIX, you don't think of BX's raps, but when you think of StrayKids, you think of their raps. When you think of Winner, you think of MINO's rapping. When you think of P1 Harmony, a lot of times you think of their rapping. That's kind of what I see missing from CIX. I want them to push BX a little bit more too. And that's kind of a theme for Tier 3. A lot of Tier 3 is like, they could be great, but they don't get pushed by the groups. Now, Rocky is someone who's the opposite. Rocky is pushed, and he's had a lot of great raps, especially recently. And he's kind of, you know, he started off debut era. He was really strong in debut. He was a standout rapper when they debuted back in 2016, was it? But then after debut, he just kind of slowly faded until recently he started picking back up the mic and, like, you know, having extremely strong raps again. You look at The One, right? And I'm not going to show examples anymore, guys, because we're getting way too deep into this video. But yeah, Rocky's kind of crazy. I think he's hitting the top of his peak. I'm not sure if he could get into Tier 2 one day. Maybe he could if we heard a solo. Again, I'm not sure, but we'll have to see. But I think Tier 3 is a really solid spot for Rocky. I think he is the best rapper in Astro. I'm so sorry, JinJin. But yeah, Rocky's very solid. Next, you have HUTA, who's pretty, you know, slept on because he's in the same group as MINO. And MINO is, like, you know, in a widely regarded, he's been a judge on Show Me the Money. He's almost won Show Me the Money. He's featured on Show Me the Money tracks numerous times, like Bobby has. So HUTA is like a little bit of you know, a kind of like the secret, you know, hidden younger child that actually, is HUTA even younger than MINO? I don't know, but it's like you think of Winner, you usually think of MINO's rapping first and then HUTA. But HUTA's had really solid verses and really overall extremely well done verses, sometimes even better than MINO's own winner songs. But like MINO's just on another league, in my opinion. I genuinely think MINO's on another league. Like, you look at the verses in Family and compare, it's just no comparison to me. Next is kind of the same thing, but for BlockB, and that's Kyung to ZICO. I think Kyung is also a very solid, good rapper who gets a bit overshadowed by ZICO because ZICO's as big as he is and as talented and, you know, has made a name for himself as a rapper as he is. And you have Kyung here, and he's poor Kyung is sitting here as an actual solid rapper, but, you know, ZICO kind of overshadows him a bit with the general eye, and I hate to see that. So, but it is what it is. I think Kyung is an extremely solid rapper as well. He's definitely Tier 3 worthy. Like, obviously, they're not down in Tier 4, but yeah, they're both kind of the same story, and that might be why I subconsciously put them so close together. But yeah, let's move into our first of the 17 boys, S-Coops. And I know a lot of carrots in here might be like up in arms right now going, Matt, why is the highest 17 member so low, and why is it only in Tier 3? 17 of the best hip-hop unit. And they're about to, like, you know, dislike the video and punch me. And I'm so sorry, carrots, but here's my reasoning. Since 2017, what have 17 done hip-hop-wise? Cheers. Oh, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's it. Cheers was a breath of fresh air, which is even the leaders unit. It's just S-Coops, which is why he's the highest. But besides that, it's like 17 started off with so much hip-hop unit stuff. They had a SoundCloud. They were doing remixes. They were doing covers. They had so many impressive verses. Mingyu, Wanu, which we'll talk about later. Verna, which we'll talk about later. They all, S-Coops as well, they all were doing these amazing raps. Well-done raps. These amazing live performances, too, with amazing breath control and everything. What has there been recently? Not much. And as much as amazing as those hip-hop unit raps were, I haven't heard them in recent years. And maybe I'm just missing them. And, like, you know, when we were rating these, no one pointed them out to me. That's trying to keep me unbiased. But I'd love to hear it. 17 fans, Carrots, if you guys have examples from the past year or two of S-Coups going off, Wonhyuk going off, but even Wonhyuk and Mingyu, it's like in 17 songs, they don't even rap anymore. It's just S-Coups and Vernon who rap now. But we'll talk about Vernon and Wonhyuk and Mingyu later. It's like S-Coups gets to be the highest spot. He still raps. He still got it. I wish he would do more. I wish he'd have like some rap-heavy solos and stuff, but I can only ask for so much. 17's a great group, so it is what it is. I can't have those 2016 years back. If you know what I mean. Next up, we have Day of Unite. He's an up-and-coming rapper. He has some really solid raps. If you listen to Unite and you hear this like insane rapper, that is Day. And I have him in tier 3 right now. He does write his own stuff. Everyone that I'm talking about writes at least a little bit of their stuff. And from what I know, Day writes his own stuff. And every time I hear Unite, I'm just like, who was that? Jesus! And I'm just kind of taken back a little bit. So I think Day has a lot of potential. He's with the Jooheon and Jongseob up and coming era. We'll see how Unite does. We'll see if they give Day some time to shine. But in the songs that I have heard, Day's had quite a bit of rapping, and they have a lot of faith in him. So we'll see if he can keep moving up and have some more impressive stuff with Unite this year. And I would love to hear that. Next up, we have Hyunjin of StrayKids. Now, this is a lot higher than a lot of people might think, but I think 2022, Hyunjin kind of glowed up a lot. I did make a video on him glowing up back in December, but like he wrote a bunch of verses this year, and some of his best verses were his own, because Hyunjin, if you didn't know, for most of StrayKids, he's rapping what Jisung writes for him. It's a very Jisung-esque, to the point where many lyric channels get confused between who's rapping. I can't tell the difference, because obviously Hyunjin's learning from Jisung. He's rapping what Jisung writes for him and doing it in the style Jisung wants. But then you get to what Hyunjin's writing on his own, and you look at stuff like Muddy Water that came out this year, and he has his own style. And with that style, there's so much potential. This lazy rapper style, this singy rap, lazy rap style that Hyunjin has is so cool, and I hope that he gets to write himself more. I know he's dance focused. I know he's not a rapper first type of dude, but I really do hope that he gets to write more, because I love hearing his own style. And when he does get to do his own style, like in Muddy Water and a few other songs that we heard this year, he really shines. And yeah, but then there's also the fact that he's rapping these very complex things that Jisung has written for him over the years, and I think that says a lot about his rapping too. So that's why he's as high as he is in tier 3, even though a lot of people may think that he should be lower. I don't think he should be. Although he definitely shouldn't be higher. This is I don't think I could put him any higher than this. If you think Hyunjin should be higher, that's a lot of convincing you'd have to do for me. But let's move on to Ichon. Ichon is not that consistent for me. There's some verses like DKB's I forgot the song, so let me check real quick. There's this verse, right? In DKB, is it all? It starts with all. Sober was a great track this year. All in. Amazing rap in All In. I just play this because I'm already here. Great delivery, great pacing overall. Such a good change in the style for DKB too. Like, the song has one feel, and then they changed the feel for his rap, and he did so well making that feel like it's in place. But there's also a lot of low points and a lot of songs from DKB that I listen to, like, excited to hear Ichon, and it's just not there, which is why he's tier 3. If everything was on the level of All In, he would be so much higher. But he's mid tier 3 for that reason. Next up, we have Daehyun and WeI, who's kind of the same thing. He has a lot of solid, great verses. The reason he's below Ichon's because I don't think his peak is as high as Ichon's yet. But he's had a lot of really good verses. But then also, I'd be listening for WeI's rapper like, where's Daehyun? And then it just never comes, And that's why I can't place him any higher, even though he's had some really solid verses. It's just there's some times when you listen to WeI, it's just not there, and not like literally not there, because I'm pretty sure he raps in most of their songs, but it's just the rap doesn't stand out for whatever reason it may be. But let's continue. We got the MCND second boy on here, which is Win. Very consistent rapper. You look at songs like Ninja and Top Gang. He has amazing verses on there. And then solid verses in the other MCND stuff, and he kind of has victim to the same thing Castle J was, of having only short verses. And I wish, MC&D would make freaking songs where 16 bar verse for Castle J, and then, Min J, the vocalists of MC&D get the pre-chorus and like the hook, and then you give 16 bars to Bic, and then the vocalists get the pre-chorus and the hook, except they change, and then you give Win a 16-bar bridge. And then you give all the rappers, they can all like do like a little passe between each other and be like, into the final chorus where the two singers go back and forth in the final chorus. That would be my dream MCND, but they don't do that. They just be a basic K-pop group, and they're just like 4-bar verse for Castle J, 4-bar verse for Win, 4-bar verse for BTOB, and then 4-bar vocals into the bridge where they have another vocals, and then they go into the hook where the rappers are getting most of their time chanting. Why? Let them rap. But that's my little problem with MCND. I want them to rap more, and they don't. I can't place them any higher until they do. Yuto with Pentagon, second best rapper in Pentagon. I don't have too much to say on Yuto. He's very solid, not too much weak. I think he does great in Care Bears, and also Kino does great in Care Bears, but that's besides the point. I'm pretty sure it was Yuto. I hope it's Yuto, or else I just embarrassed myself for all the Yuto stands. I'm so sorry if I did. But yeah, Care Bears was good if that was him, if I'm remembering correctly. And yeah, that's Yuto. I don't have too much to say. He's a solid rapper. You're gonna get to that point in this list where I'm just like, he's cool. HUYoung, he had a standout thing. He's had some cool things on High School Rapper. He had some cool things in Kingdom. Not too much in SF9. How high can I put him just based on High School Rapper and Kingdom? I don't know. I determined midway point of tier 3. So that's HUYoung. Vernon. I used to have a lot higher. I had him over S-Scoops at one point. And the reason why he's not anymore is because of his recent solo that he did punk rock and sang the whole time. Vernon, what the fuck are you doing? I thought you were a hip-hop guy. I thought you loved rap. What was 2016 to you? What was 2017 to you with all this amazing 17 hip-hop unit stuff? What happened to that? Now we're singing in solos? I am extremely disappointed, Vernon. No, but actually, like, he dropped a lot because, he didn't rap. And when he does rap, it's tier 3 worthy in 17 songs. It's nothing extremely impressive. And he's had a few features into some K-hip-hop stuff. But overall, it's just like, why is he singing? I want him to rap. He's a rapper, right? And if he's not a rapper, then why is he this high on this list? I don't know. He's decent overall. I just wish he would rap more. I wish we'd go back to 17's 2016 days. J-Min, we already talked about what Bay 173 earlier. On here it says Bay 174, but it's Bay 173. And J-Min, I think he's a very solid rapper. He writes his own verses, and he's just a solid rapper behind Jooheon. J-Min's very good, though. I think he has a lot of potential, too, and I think him and Jooheon together could make a great tandem, like Intak of Jongseob. Like last year, I had Intak down here or something, right? And this year, Intak moved up here. Like next year, I would love for it to be Jooheon up here, and then J-Min made a huge come up, and it's right here with him. I would love that. Do I think it's going to happen? Probably not, but I would love to see it, So yeah, next up we have Borrow, a B1A4. He's slowly falling as he doesn't release new raps over time, but if you listen to some B1A4 stuff, especially their 2016 album, 2017 album, he had some really solid raps on those too. And very consistent. Gets him to tier 3. He's going to be falling over the years as he doesn't release more raps, but it's great to see him this high while we can. I love B1A4. I'm so sad that they, lost Borrow and, the other members. Yeah, I mean, are they still a 3-member group? I haven't really checked in on them recently. I would assume so. But anyways, let's move on. Yoshi's Treasure. He is like, the middle child between Hyunsuk and Haruto. I think I'm just going to cover Haruto while I'm here. Haruto is probably the weakest Treasure rapper. Most simple flow, the most straightforward delivery, has potential in tier 3. Again, all the Treasure rappers do have potential. We just have not heard it yet because Treasure doesn't really let them rap. And I think Yoshi's the middle child between the two. I think Yoshi's had Hyunsuk has the highest peak right now, and then Yoshi, and then Haruto. We'll see what happens in the future. I hope Treasure give them some more raps, but we'll see. We got Lido of One Us. Unfortunately, Raven is down here because Raven is no longer in One Us, so I did not include him because I don't even know if he's being a soloist right now. But yeah. Excuse me. Yeah, Lido, deep voice dude. Used to have him a lot lower. He's come up in the recent years. You can look at Shut Up Crazy Hot. And while I think Raven was definitely the shining feature here, Lito put in work. Like, I wish Raven was a good rapper. For those of you who are ONEUS fans, by the way, Raven would have been like probably bottom tier 2. Raven would have probably been around here, I would think. Or maybe here, if I was including him on the list, but yeah. Oh no, I can't take him off the list now. What? I can't take him off. Okay, fine. We'll put him where he. Okay, we'll put him above WooJin. Anyways, that's Lito. Jackson at GOT7. He's an idol rapper. He has some solid verses, and they're pretty damn good. Done nothing extraordinary, hence why he's in tier 3. But he's also had probably the highest highs of GOT7 rappers, and the most consistent raps of GOT7 members. So Jackson, mid tier 3. Taeyong of 2 PM, very good for his time. I think, again, if you kind of like Top, if you debuted him right now, he would not stand up. But when you go and listen to some 2 PM stuff, you know, he does kind of stand out a little bit, especially for his second gen counterparts, where it's just like, whoa. So, Taeyong has quite a number of good raps under his belt. Peñol, I used to have him a lot lower. I think he showed off on Kingdom, and then even after Kingdom onto like Outsider and stuff on BTOB stuff, he's really coming to his own. I know he's older. They're an older group, but like, you know, better late than never. He's really coming to his own, I think, and bumped himself up to tier 3 on this list. I'm not sure what I had him at last year, but yeah, that's where I have him at now. Next up, we have the third member, MCND. Same story. I just think BIXX had the least amount of time to shine. That's pretty much all there is to it. I think that he's in the same tier as the other two, though, and they all have the potential to be really, really good if they were able to rap more than 4 bars in a song. Anyways, next up we have Hui of TNX. TNX is having to come back next month. We'll see. Their debut, even though I hated the song, I'm so sorry, TNX fans. I personally just subjectively hated the song. The rappers, you know, showed a lot of potential. So we have TNX. I think Hui has a lot of potential. We'll see what Psy and P Nation do with them. And we'll see what happens next month. Hopefully they give us a really good Hui rap, and I can be like, oh, let's bump him up to here or something, you know. Next up is Eric of the Boyz. He is the counterpart to Sunwoo. I think when you listen to them together, it really is a huge difference to show where they are at. He has some solid verses, though. Very great delivery at times. But overall, he's not on that same level, on that same tier as Sunwoo, and I think he's barely squeaking into tier 3, especially because he writes his own stuff, which I think says a lot about the stuff he's writing. Next up, we have Wonhyuk and Mingyu of 17. What I wanted to say about them earlier, they sing nowadays. Wonhyuk used to be my bias in 17. Why? Because I freaking loved his deep-ass rapping voice, but still with the ability to have these like complex flows back in 2016. And I would listen for him in 17 songs, and he would just always sing. He'd always freaking sing. And I'm like, why? Can you rap for me, Wonhyuk? And he'll look at me, and he goes, no. And he just sings more. And I can't put him higher if he's not going to rap, you know? And that's the same with Mingyu. Both of them kind of just sing nowadays, and it's just like, they have some really good raps from 2016, but how long can that carry them on this list? I don't know. So I have them towards the bottom of tier 3. Jisung of Tan, great rapper. He has a lot of potential, especially been listening to Tan this past year. He's a lot of potential to come up and be pretty good. I need to see some more variety from him. He's very basic stuff, but I hear the potential in there from the raps he's been doing. So I think bottom of tier 3 is a very solid spot for Jisung. HUTA we already talked about, and Hyunjun of ATBO has some really fancy flow schemes. He's written his own raps too, so that's why he gets to be in tier 3. If he hasn't, then he would be down here above Baesung. But I know he's written at least one of his raps, so we put him in tier 3. I'll leave him here for now because I don't think it rates most of them. But yeah, ATBO's Hyunjun has a very fun flow scheme in one of the songs, Base something, but I don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember what it's called. So yeah, that's gonna do it for tier 3. Now let's move into the bottom tiers. We're just gonna fly through these because most of the rappers here need a lot of work. So yeah, let's dive into the end. Baesung of EPEX has a lot of standout raps. Hasn't written any of them, so he has to be tier 3.5. But you know, he's got some chops. He really does, and I'd love to see what he can do if he had to write his own raps. Then we have tier 4. Jooheon of P1 Harmony definitely concentrates more into singing. I can't put him in tier 3 when you're singing in 90% of the time. But when you do rap, Jooheon's had some really cool rap verses. Like, that's it. Where he went the fuck off in that P1 Harmony song. But he's definitely not Intak and Jongseob's level, and I can't really put him in tier 3 when he's singing most of the time. But he's probably the best rapper when he tries to rap in tier 3. Bangchan of StrayKids, I might have a little bit higher than I originally put him when I put him down from Daddy tier. I'm not 100% sure, but Bangchan's a very solid rapper. He concentrates a lot more on singing too in StrayKids. I wish he would give us some more rap because he has the potential to be a very consistent rapper, with that very unique delivery being from, with that Australian accent, whether he's rapping in Korean or English. Yeah, he has a very strong, very unique delivery style to him. And then we have Jooheon of ATBO. He writes more than Hongjoong. But when he does write, it's not as complex as what Hyunjoon's rapping, which is why we have Hyunjoon higher. But there's the potential is there if Jooheon is writing what Hyunjoon is rapping. The potential is there. I can't wait to see ATBO last year. They are on my radar from last year. I can't wait to see them this year. Next up, we have the other StrayKids member, VIXX. Yeah, he's definitely the weakest actual rapper or rap line in StrayKids. He gets by on his deep voice a lot, which is a very sexy deep voice, and I love listening to stuff like Victory Song. And when it comes to actual rap or the rapping, it's very basic. Not too much to say there. But again, he is a dancer, so yeah. Yeonjun of TXT, very overhyped by TXT fans. As much as I love TXT, Yeonjun is a much better singer than he is a rapper, just because he raps like in Puma does not make him a top tier rapper. I am sorry, but yeah, he's got a lot of work to do. He's very raw when he raps. And yeah, honestly, I prefer his vocals, but yeah, I can't put him any higher in tier 4. Puma's okay. Good Boy, Bad Boy's okay. Yeah, I can't really think of anything else. It's like, in a song that you would expect a badass rap, like Frost, he didn't. So there's only so much you can do, right? Yang of NCT is kind of the opposite. I think it could be really fucking good, but NCT doesn't let him rap, or SM doesn't let him rap. But when you have heard him rap, he kind of goes the fuck off. I wish we'd get that more from Yang. But we haven't, so I can't put him any higher than right here. It's like he's had a few raps that are really, really good, but it's like, what am I supposed to do? Put him higher when he barely shows it? Bam Bam. He's had a few decent raps in GOT7. Went solo, extremely pop singer focused, so I'm not going to place him any higher, even though he might have had a couple of the strongest GOT7 raps. He's definitely not to the point of Jackson when you listen to Jackson's raps and his solos and stuff. It's like Jackson's a much stronger, consistent rapper than Bam Bam, but Bam Bam's definitely had higher peaks, in my opinion. GK of DKB. A lot of people say he's a stronger rapper than Ichan, but I never remember any of his rap verses. I think he does have the potential to be there, and I think DKB could do as well, but they're kind of the same as MC and D, where it's like they don't want to let GK rap as much. I don't know why, but it's like whenever I listen to DKB, Ichan always stands out to me, and GK I'm just left wait, there were 2 rappers? I didn't even remember the second one. So I don't know if that's just a personal thing coming in, but apparently a lot of people have agreed with me, and that's why I'm comfortable putting him here. I kind of hope that he gets a solo on a DKB album or a mini album, and he can kind of show us what he's got. But yeah. JU of 2-1, I know he has a lot of potential, but just hasn't been able to really show it. I know that he sped red, and people wanted me to make a video on that a few years ago, but yeah, he has potential. Haven't really heard it yet, so we have him in tier 4. Same with Wonjun of Elas. I think even though he's a main rapper, I forgot how Elas or things are. He's definitely a higher rap position than Wonhyuk, but I think Wonhyuk is a much stronger rapper. And yeah, Wonjoong has a few really excellent verses, but overall it's kind of overshadowed by Wonhyuk in my opinion. Next up, we have JR of Newest, who's had a few solid verses. Not really a standout rapper to me. He's had some stuff. That's all I'm going to say. J.No of NCT, same deal. He's had some verses. He's not really a standout rapper. He's had some cool verses, though. Hwarang of Tempest, I don't know him too well. He's probably the one I am least familiar with on this list. I am trusting my placement from my community who said that they would see him around this point. He has a lot of potential. In Tempest songs, we'll have to see if Tempest let him show out. Mill of Only One Of had a solo a few months ago, or maybe a month ago now, and really solid rapping. He surprised me because I never really paid attention to Only One Of's rapping before, but that solo was pretty damn good. So we'll see what Mill can do as well. A lot of this is just untapped potential. It's like, you know, the potential's there. Him, Hwarang, Jeno even, Wonjoong maybe, JU, GK definitely, Yang 100%, like untapped potential for a lot of these. Eunjae of INFACT, I'm not sure what INFACT are really doing right now, but yeah, when Eunjae did rap, it was solid. It wasn't bad by any means, so I mean, I felt like a low 4 was probably best for Eunjae. Jeff of EPEX, I was super hyped about Jeff when they debuted, and it's a shame. He hasn't really had anything to show off. EPEX like started off with like such a strong debut rap wise, and haven't really clicked on that with they become very bland for me. I really hope they go back to their debut style with the raps that they were doing there. But we'll see. I had so much potential in Jeff. I was like, Jeff is the best rapper in EPEX, and I ate my words. Baesung's definitely had better verses than Jeff. Brian of Day 6, Young K. Again, not a huge fan of rapping in bands, so I think Brian does what he can with what he's got. But we'll see. I think Day 6 is going to start having more and more releases coming up with all the turmoil that's happened with the member rotations and everything. Next, we have Alan and Saturn of Gravity, but neither of them have ever stood out to me in Gravity, which is a shame because they are from Starship, who have Jooheon and IM. I can't even tell them apart when I hear them rap. And I've listened to the Gravity a bunch now, and I cannot even tell them apart. And I know there's going to be a lot of people who have listened to Gravity 1,000 times. Like, what? How can you not tell them apart? They're so different. But trust me, when you're not a Gravity stan, they very much blend together. I think that says a lot about their delivery. Anyways, we'll move into Tier 5 now. And pretty much all these guys are the same. When they rap, it's pretty weak, but they often sing a lot too. Youngbin of SF9, P.O. of BlockB, Mark of GOT7, MINO of SHINee, Sehun of EXO, and Aiden of EPEX. Often sing. I mean, MINO's entire new album was singing, if I remember correctly. Runaway, what was it? Chase Me, Chase, something like that. That entire album, man, was like so. It was a great album, but it was vocals. Mark just sings now. I'm pretty sure. Sad boy music. P.O. was more of a hype man to me in BlockB than an actual rapper, more of a chanter than rapper. And just overall, like, Sehun's just kind of there. He's a great compliment to Chanyeol, but I don't think he would ever stand up on his own as a rapper. So yeah, Tier 5, all these boys, I mean, solid idols, but none of them really are standout rappers. And then finally, Tier 6, these are vocalists that have a rap position for some reason, usually sub-rappers. Lino, he's rapped like 5 times. Why does he still have a rap position? Back at Elevator days, I really wanted him to be a rapper and be like, oh my god, they have 6 rappers, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. But at the end of the day, Lino, you're not a rapper. You're a vocalist at this point. I don't know why he still has a rap position if he still does. Kum of EPEX, I don't know if I've ever heard him rap. Please, if he has, put it in the comments, but I'm not familiar with any of his raps, but he is labeled a rapper. And Youngwon of Monsta X, I know he's had a few raps, but he should stick with singing. And that's one final cough as we have finished this just under 2 hours. Woo! I hope you guys enjoyed this very long video. It took a lot of time to make, as you just watched. I hope you guys enjoyed the full-length video, though. If you want any further descriptions on any of these people, and hopefully I wasn't too negative on any of them. I was realizing when I was making this that man, I probably should have said more positive things about this person than negative. Because like, you know, I'd be like, oh my god, why isn't Mark up here, instead of saying why Mark is as high as he is, because Mark is still high up. But I realized that, you know, for Mark, for example, I spent a lot of time saying why he's not in tier 1 rather than why he is in tier 2. So my apologies if I was a bit negative for some of the people, like Mark and RM specifically. I remember those two. I pointed out negatives a bit too much for my taste. But yeah, if that bothers someone, I'll probably timestamp them to the end of this video. I didn't mean it to be like that, but that's kind of how it ended up. And yeah, I think my dog's barking, so that's probably a good time to edit as I go see what my dog needs. But yeah, thank you all for joining me, and I'll get the girl version up here soon. Hopefully this long-winded video can, you know, help you guys learn some new rappers, help you guys validate your faves, and don't take my word as law, because it is not. Like, I'm as objective as possible. I tried to get other people to correct me, but at the end of the day, I'm just one person who just knows a lot about K-pop rapping and can compare. So feel free to argue that you think Suga should be #1 down in the comments below, or that J-HOPE is actually tier 1, or that Chanyeol should be tier 6 because he's not a real rapper. I don't know. Feel free to argue down in the comments below. I would love to hear it, but just be respectful. I put a lot of time into this, so it just breaks my heart when people just come in and just, like, you know, discredit the entire video because I said one thing they didn't like. So just be respectful when you're arguing in the comments below. I'd love to hear it and, you know, rebuttal with you. And yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed. Check out the girl group version if you haven't already. And with that being said, K-pop Until the Safeway, thank you all for watching through this part. Come join us on Patreon, patreon.com/Kpop. And yeah, I appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. Bye!